So David Ellison continues to not give up on acquiring Warner Brothers. In an article from Variety themselves, Paramount's David Ellison vows anti-monopoly approach in Warner Brothers' Discovery bid, pledges 30 films annually in an open letter to creative community. So he's urging these creators and regulators to defend competition. And he's now making a promise that, look, if we acquire Warner Brothers, we are going to release 30 movies on a yearly basis. I've been saying this all along. I don't think Paramount is going to acquire Warner Brothers. Netflix is in a better financial position. And when you compare what they have available versus what Paramount has available, it just seems that Netflix has the assets to maintain Warner Brothers. I know there's arguments out there about Netflix being woke, but if you watch Netflix, they have a variety of different content. Some content is for woke stuff, other content is for entertainment purposes. So they have different things for their audience. Looking at this article here, David Ellison has not given up on his pursuit of Warner Brothers, discovering his plan to counter rival suitor Netflix. He sent an open letter on Thursday to journalists around the world, including the UK and France. So this man sent out a massive message just trying to get people on board with the idea of Paramount buying Warner Brothers because he believes that it's going to create a monopoly. And I find that interesting because if Paramount bought Warner Brothers, wouldn't that also be considered a monopoly? I just don't understand that. I think people are upset because Netflix is threatening to shorten the theater window when it comes to how long it stays out in theaters. The thing is, after the first weekend, the numbers go down the tank and people just don't show up. And there's a variety of reasons. Streaming is a big one. We also have the cost of tickets. A family of four isn't as willing to go see more movies because it costs more money to attend, see a movie. And if it's mid, if it's slop, if it's not something that is unbelievable, they're not showing up. So you're seeing less and less families go to the movies on, pay more than 3 or 4 times a year because the cost is higher. And people just rather wait, even if it's a really good movie, if they don't see it that first weekend, like, I'll just wait for it to come out on Max or come out on Paramount or Netflix. I'm good where we are right now. It's an interesting attempt by David Ellison. He didn't show up for the Senate hearing. I just don't get how you're being so loud, but it's hard to take him serious, in my personal opinion. And the reason why I believe that is because, number one, when Warner Brothers told you submit your final bid, you didn't go higher than Netflix. And that alone is a red flag for someone like Warner Brothers, because if you're serious about acquiring us, show us the money. Prove to us why your offer is better than Netflix. And it just wasn't. In this letter, it was written in different languages. Creative community, fellow film lovers, and television fans, the industry at large, are best served by greater choice, not less, and by a marketplace that encourages the full spectrum of filmmaking, content creation, and theatrical exhibition, not one that eliminates meaningful competition by creating a monopolistic or dominant entity. And when I see this statement by David Ellison, my initial reaction is, aren't you guys going to do the same thing? You're going to own a big portion of streaming services, of content. Technically, you're also creating a monopoly. So it just feels like a desperate attempt by David Ellison and his lobbying to support his 108 billion hostile bid for Warner Brothers. The thing is, that offer includes everything in Warner Brothers. Netflix just wants the movie side of things. They don't want the TV content. So you could argue that Netflix deal is better than Paramount's deal. So unless they're willing to pay the fee, because I can't remember the exact fee, but if Warner Brothers backs out Netflix deal, they got to pay them a fee for backing out. So unless Paramount's willing to pay that, it's like, okay, you can keep being the loudest and saying, oh, it's going to create competition problems. And I believe it could, but at the same time, people aren't showing up to the movies as much. And it's a variety of different reasons. So on one end, it's like, I understand the concerns for a monopoly, but we've been heading in this direction with more streaming platforms. And at the end of the day, if the movie is really good, but you don't have the money because the cost of tickets are higher, then you're just going to wait. Even if it's a movie that you love, it's like, Okay, what if it's like a reboot of something? Like they reimagine the universe of Marvel again, like after we have Doomsday and Secret Wars, and they reboot everything again. Are fans gonna want to show up? They might get fatigued because they've seen so much of it. It's like, I can wait. I have all this library of other movies they made. I'll just sit at home and I'll wait for another film to come out. There's a lot going on here, but I just don't see Paramount acquiring Warner Brothers because at this point they can fight, they can holler and scream about a monopoly, but they would be doing the same thing in my personal opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts and reactions to what David Ellison is trying to do here in his attempt to acquire Warner Brothers. Do you agree or disagree with this approach? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.